Everybody, whoops, did it work? It did
Yeah.
work.
Yay.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back finally to another episode of For Whom the Bell Tolls. You guys, it has been, I want to say, 3, possibly 4 months since last we met. You guys know why we had the break. We're not going to get into all of that, but I have to tell you, and we're going to welcome everybody here in a minute, and we're going to welcome our guests in a minute, but I'm just personally fired up to be able to bring you this show again, and particularly for you guys who are in chat today, thank you for bringing some life today. For those of you that are watching on Team Replay, you know what to do. You put it in the hashtag Team Replay in the comments so I know when you watched it, where you watched it from, so I can schedule some shows around your day, not always just my day, kind of like what we're doing today because we've got a guest. Let me tell you, folks, we got a guest that I've been wanting to have on this show for over a year. And I didn't think I was good enough at this yet to get him on this show. Now, he's humble, he's all of this stuff. But I have got to tell you how fired up I am because we have somebody that to me defines fun YouTube better than any other booktuber that I watch. And if you know me, I watch all of you guys. I watch, if you're a booktuber, you know I watch your channel. If you're a viewer, I watch the same people you do, but nobody brings a smile to my face more often than our guest today at For Whom the Bell Tolls. And I just want to welcome in Gavin from Gavin Reads It All to the Bell Tower. Gavin, tell everybody how you're doing today or tonight, your
Um,
time.
it is tonight my time, yeah, which I don't mind. I'm a bit of a night owl anyway, so like this is kind of perfect for me. But I'm doing fantastically. You were saying all of that stuff, and I was like, who is that person you're talking about? You got another guest on, and you didn't tell me. But I genuinely am. I'm the one who's on it. I'm the one who's excited to be here. I speak for a lot of people like Heidi in the chat as well. Beltube Withdrawal. We are very, very, very happy that you were back because you were just an absolute shining light in the booktube community. Whenever I watch people's live shows, like so many people's different live shows, and I see your name in the chat, I get so excited because I know you bring the positivity, you bring the energy. So it is an honor for me that I get to steal you for one night.
You are
Maybe not one night only, for one night only. And yeah, just like have some fun. Let's do it.
definitely not. I'm going to go through and welcome some people that are joining us here in the chat. Of course, Becky's here. Hello. Our good friend Andrew from Andrew's Wizardly Reads. Hello there to you as well. Shay, hello. Bree, hello. Whoops, there we go. Good afternoon. Deborah, hello. Now, I don't recognize some of these names, so it's exciting because this might be some people that follow the one and only Gavin that are finding us for the first time. Delicio, good
Hope so.
afternoon, everyone. Lauren says hi. My brother in the South, John Minton, talking story. How are you, my brother? Senna, hi, everyone. So excited for this show. Me too. Hello, Alec Reads, and you know what? I know this is going to happen. Folks, I'm telling you right now, I'm going to try to keep up with comments, but if you follow me on socials and as I showed Gavin, I got 3 pages of questions for our guest today. And I suspect if I go through chat, we're going to be here, till, as my people say, Tu B'Shvat next February. Heidi, just in time, suffering from some bell tube withdrawal. Yeah, thank you. Jamie, hello. Katie, hello. Eureka, love your name. Ulrika, I should say. I need these people. Thank you so much. Noel, great to see you. Okay. And exactly, you do deserve the world, Gavin.
Well,
All right, all
stop it.
right. Here we go. Gavin has a great accent. I bet you could narrate The Black Tongue Thief and Brian would understand every word. Probably. We were talking about that a little bit backstage. Lisa Ann, hello. Our good friend and Dr. Philip Chase is in the house on summer break, no less. Got a brand new book on the
Nice.
way out next week, which is exciting.
Nice.
The Book Lounge, hello. Okay, everybody. Thank you for comments. I'm going to get to comments as well as I can, but I've got questions and my guest has answers and we need to get to these. Oh, come on. You are not Joe, Mike. Okay. Okay. Gavin, so in preparation for
Mm,
these videos. I like to
yeah.
watch a lot of videos of my guests. Now, sometimes it's really easy because they might have a newer channel and we're talking
Mm.
about, a handful of videos, a few dozen videos, 100, maybe two. Gavin, you started as a booktuber really 6 years ago, but you started uploading 15 years ago. The dawn of YouTube was birthed
Yep.
with Gavin in mind.
I
Tell
think it
us,
was. No, I think you're right.
I think it is. Tell us, what were you uploading 15 years ago? Because it wasn't
Well,
book stuff, was it?
no, no, it wasn't. And honestly, it's so funny because I kept one video up from all those years ago because I kind of wanted something to tether me still to the dawn of YouTube, as you said. Because I did. I joined in 2006, and I think YouTube started 2005, 2006, around that time. And yeah, I was uploading. You know how maybe back in the day people uploaded fan videos of things, so people would do clips from TV shows or films, and they would put it towards a some kind of music. And so that's what I was mainly doing. I was getting these Disney films or like my favorite TV shows, and I was just doing like fan videos, and all of them were copyright songs, all the
Sure.
copyright material, so I could never have kept them up for much longer. But it was something that was so fun to me, and it really helped my creativity because I would try and get songs that would match different tones, and I would edit them in certain ways, and it kind of I mean, I don't take any kind of lessons from early YouTube or anything, but one thing I did take was like editing. So because I was editing things to make it seem music video like, I
Mm-hmm.
feel like I kind of took those skills and applied it to what I do now. But yeah, it was just a whole lot of copyrighted stuff that I was uploading back then. I probably would not have lived long enough to see the booktube of today had I continued. So yeah, I it was a crazy time. It was a
That
crazy time.
you're right there for the birth of YouTube. So 6 years ago, you did the booktube newbie tag, right? And I something I never did, which I sort of regret, is 2 years. It'll be 2 years for me coming up in November. Maybe I'll do the newbie book tag.
You should.
That-
You should. It's never too late. Never
it's
too late.
never too late. So I have to ask you, 6 years ago, you said you weren't good enough for booktube. And now you have over 100,000 subscribers. What has changed for you from
Mm.
going from I'm not good enough to do this to one of the most confident channels? Because when you turn your show on, you don't see insecurity, you see
Mm.
confidence. Tell us a little bit about that journey from the I'm not good enough to where you are right now.
You did literally kind of just apply the buzzword there, and it was confidence, and that is something I sorely lacked when I started YouTube. I said for the longest time, I actually discovered YouTube back in 2013, like booktube, sorry, booktube back
Yeah.
in 2013, and so I was following like Jesse the Reader, read by Zoe, and like some like original booktube, like massive incredible creators, and I wanted so badly to be a part of that. But that was back in 2013, and I genuinely was like, I don't have the confidence to do it. I could never be like them. Like, why would I even want to try? It took me, what is it, like 6 years between 2013 and 2019 to actually start and to actually gain the confidence for that. It took 6 years to
Oh
build
my gosh.
that confidence, and I both regret it taking that long, but also very happy I took that long because I feel like maybe if I did try and start earlier, I wouldn't have made the decisions and had the same trajectory that I ended up having. I feel like everything happens for a reason at the right time. So it definitely helped, I think, planning for 6 years before coming on. I say planning, I wasn't planning, but
Yeah.
I was just watching booktube. I was like a silent supporter, and I was consuming it all and just like taking part in readathons and book clubs and all of that. So by the time 2019 rolled around, I was like, I kind of really do just want to share my thoughts and feelings, and so everyone can sort of see what I think about this book and that book and this book, and that kind of just morphed over time. And I was so scared of the camera when I started, and you could probably tell in that booktube newbie tag, I was kind
Hmm.
of maybe a little bit timid, more so than like I am now. But it became a thing where I started to say the camera. This is gonna sound so weird, but I started to say the camera as a friend, which
Yeah.
I know is probably sound like maybe a little bit strange, but because I felt like I was talking to a friend, and that translated into so many friends online and so many people watching on BookTube, that kind of, I think by 2020, 2021, I was like, okay, taking 2 years, but I feel a lot more confident. But yeah, it's confidence. It's all about the confidence, you know. So
Uh,
yeah, it took a while, but we got there.
I think yeah. Well, I know you got there. There's no doubt
Mm,
about it. Just in like I say, sometimes when I do these shows and I watch some of the older videos, and then I watch your videos from yesterday or today or this last week, and it's you still have the core of the person, but you
mm.
really have just an abundance of joy and confidence, and less so of the, well, I'm going to throw this out there and kind of hope it works and kind of see that maybe if I like it or if I don't. Your footing was a little wobbly. I think everybody's is at the beginning in our own minds, not necessarily when I watch it. Like I didn't watch your newbie tag and go, oh, he's on wobbly footing, but you probably thought you were.
Mhm,
Whereas
mhm.
now when you
Yeah.
turn the camera on, it's like you said, it's a friend. You know
Yeah.
you're talking
Well,
to friends.
my very first video was actually a book haul. The newbie tag was my very second video, but in that book haul, I was even worse. And I thought I didn't even think about lighting or anything. I placed a lamp between my legs when I was filming the book haul video, so the light was shining up. And I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I've got the worst setup in the world. The phone quality is terrible because I was just filming on my phone, which is a
Yeah.
great tool, honestly, for especially starting BookTube.
Yeah.
And my audio is not the best, but like it just it was one of those things where I I ended up having to go for it, and it will go. This will tie into something, the one for the road. It will tie into this.
Sure.
I'm saving what I was about to
Yeah.
say for then, but it's definitely a journey, and it's so lovely to hear you say, "Oh yeah, these days, I could upload a video tomorrow, and it'll just be so different. Like same person, but more confidence." I think.
Absolutely. I think Heidi had a great thing here. She said, Gavin, I just subbed. You could read the dictionary. I just want to hear your voice. So
That's so lovely, considering a lot of the criticisms I do get over the years is my voice. So
is
it's nice to hear. It is nice
it,
to
it,
hear.
it's fantastic. So I like to ask some strange questions when we do these, episodes. And I thought of one because you travel just incredible amounts. And it's not like you're just going to the grocery store. You go to countries and different continents and you bring your camera with you. And we're going to talk a little bit about some of those vlogs today. But my first question to you really is, what is the best book you've read because of a trip? And to follow that up, what's the best trip you've taken because of a book?
Oh, oh, I greatly enough, I actually had an answer for both there because I thought I would struggle. I wasn't given any of these questions beforehand,
That's true.
so yeah, so I kind of it's kind of a testament that I did actually think of two things when you said that. And honestly, I do wish I was just going to the grocery store, Brian. I can't tell you, I'm getting on. I'm getting on. My back cannot handle all this
Oh,
traveling. I was on a train on Monday for like 5 hours, and then I was on a train on Tuesday for 5 hours. I was on a train 8 hours
I
last
saw
month.
that.
I just, oh my gosh, I'm falling apart. I'm literally falling apart. I can't keep up, but I'm
Oh,
still trying to. I'm still trying to. I'm trying to reclaim my youth. So, the first part of the question thing was, best
the
book
you've read because of a trip.
because of the trip. So I ended up doing a trip to the Shire House. It was like a replica Shire House, and I went there because I wanted to read The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. So I had already read them years and years and years before, and I was like, oh, okay, they're good, but like they're not great. So I ended up doing this because I just wanted to do a video in a Shire house and make people feel like they're in Middle Earth, and anyone
Sure.
watching can feel like they're part of the Lord of the Rings. And I could actually buy the license for the soundtrack of the Lord of the Rings. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna buy this license. I'm just gonna like make a new Lord of the Rings film essentially. Well, I didn't really, but like it was one of those things where I was like, okay, I want my viewers to feel it and I want them to experience it with me. And yeah, I went into that thinking, oh, I'm just gonna like them again. Like they're not gonna blow me away. But after reading the Lord of the Rings trilogy and The Hobbit again, they actually blew into like being some of my favorite books of all time. Like it was so surprising to me because I I do have a bit of a love-hate relationship with fantasy. It's something that I've always loved as a child,
Hmm.
but getting older, I found it more and more intimidating as it goes on. And, like, it's like my favorite genre ever, but sometimes I think I'm not smart enough for it. So I do have like this feeling of insecurities whenever I do pick up an epic fantasy or anything that's bigger than 500 pages sometimes.
Hmm.
So I ended up reading these, and I was thinking, this is written so long ago, and the best that's going to happen is I'm just going to like it. But it turns out they are some of my favorite books ever now, and I can't stop thinking about it. And the amount of times that I'm like, oh, I kind of just want to reread it just to feel that again, feel what that gave me. It wasn't really so much the content, even though it was the content, because I love everything about it, but it was like that feeling it gave me. So I was like, I love the fact that this has really helped me with fantasy, with epic fantasy, and getting back into it. So this year, I have been much better at reading fantasy, and I'm really getting into it. And then what was the second one again?
Well, they sort of kind of mesh together a little bit
Mm,
because the
mm,
best trip you've taken because of a
mm.
book. Was there a book that
Oh,
inspired you to go somewhere?
yeah, so I went to Whitby in England because part of Dracula is set there, and I'd never read
Cool.
Dracula before. And I, again, had this idea because I used to work at Waterstones, which is a bookstore in the
Yep.
UK, and I had a colleague who went to Whitby, and she said, "Oh, it was so lovely. It's like such a lovely little seaside town, and it feels very gothic, and all of this." Things that I love about places. I love gothic places. I love abandoned places. I love to see like little villages and towns. So I was like, oh, well, I know Dracula is partly set there, and I've never read Dracula. Let's give it a go. So I went to Whitby to read Dracula, and turned out I love Dracula as well. So
Awesome.
I, yeah, and it was one of those things where I wasn't sure I would. I mean, I love Gothic classics. I actually did my dissertation at university on Gothic classics, and it was one of those things where I thought, okay, this was like a university experience, and
Sure.
I fell out of reading after university. I was like, I don't think I really like reading anymore. It really like burned me out badly. So by the time I got to Dracula, I was like, okay, I know I do love it, but I loved it in an academic setting. I
Sure.
don't know if I love it elsewhere. And turns out I did. So it was honestly so reassuring to me to know that I ended up really enjoying it.
A reinvigoration of the
Mm-hmm.
passion just
Yes.
to do it. It's an awesome answer. I've not been there. I should. John, for the 9.99 spot, just to say we all have all missed you, brother. Hey, Gav. Have you ever been on a stream with John before?
No, not yet. I feel, see, I said this to Jimmy as well last year, actually, because I do watch so many
Hmm.
fantasy booktubers, and I watch so many live streams. I love live streams. I love watching them so much. So yeah, I do watch like as many live streams as I possibly can, and that's where I get to see you in the comments as well, like boosting
Sure.
people up and being so lovely. But yeah, I was saying this to Jimmy last year as well. I was like, I feel like an outsider looking in with like so many of you guys because I love watching you all,
Sure.
but I'm not really, like really a part of it or anything. But no, I do watch like pretty much everyone, but I haven't really done very many live shows with any. I've done well, you now. I've got Jimmy, Joanna, Laura, and I think that's about it.
As you are always welcome. I mean, anybody that
Mm.
I'm friends with, I guarantee would love for you to come on their
Ah,
channel. Philip Chase says Whitby was also the site before Roman Christianity rather than Celtic Christianity. Now, would we have known that without Philip Chase? No.
even I didn't know that, and I went there. I went there, and I didn't know that.
Seriously, I never know what I'm going to get when he's in the chat, but you know, so yeah, I just want to kind of follow up on this, and we're going to talk about travel a little bit later. But
Hmm.
has travel always been a passion of yours? Because you do it a lot, and
Yeah.
a lot of book readers are sort of introvert homebodies by nature, and they travel in their minds and they travel in their imaginations, but they don't get up and go to these, anywhere from the mundane location at the coffee shop to the fabulous locations of China, Australia, where you're going. I think Norway you've got coming up as well.
Hmm.
Um, has that always been a passion of yours, is for travel?
Oh yeah, and only for the past, I think maybe 10, 12 years, because I did used to do volunteering in like Cambodia and South Africa. So that kind of reinvigorated my passion for like travel because I was scared of it for a long time. I was very scared of planes.
Sure.
So by the time university came around, I had the opportunity to go and volunteer abroad, and that really kickstarted my love for travel. And because I love doing it so much, when I came over to BookTube by like 2019, I wasn't traveling, and then obviously 2020, and
Right.
I wasn't traveling at all. But I think one thing that I love to do, because I am all about BookTube, this is my full time job, and I
Yep.
want to make it as fun for me as I possibly can, but also for people watching. So when I think of, oh, what can I do on BookTube that will blend other things in and make it fun for everyone. One of them was travel. So one of the reasons why I do my when I do go to a haunted location. So I was at a haunted school on Monday, filming and reading a spooky book. That's one of those things where you said, oh, a lot of people who watch BookTube maybe can't travel themselves, or
Mm-hmm.
we travel with our minds and we get transported through these books, and I love that so much, and I want to be a visual representation of that for so many people who can't travel. So yeah, when I go to a haunted school, I can read a haunted school book, and hopefully people watching it can feel like they're in a haunted school and feel like they're reading this book with me. Same with what else have I done that was like, I like the Lord of the Rings one. I really wanted people to
Mm-hmm.
feel like they were in Middle Earth. So yeah, I feel like first and foremost, I really want to prioritize my viewers so much. So when I'm doing travel, I want to try and another thing that I did do was I do get inspiration from a lot of other like niches on YouTube. So
Okay.
there was like a travel person who was doing a sleeper train from Scotland to London, and I was like, okay, I really want to do that, but how can I make it BookTube related? So what I ended up doing was booking this sleeper train, and I tried to solve a murder mystery on this sleeper train before I got to London, kind of thing. So
Yep.
like these kinds of things are like, I'm so excited by travel. I'm so excited by these other niches. Like I love paranormal investigators on YouTube, for instance, and I try and incorporate as much of that into BookTube as possible. So me traveling is like, I love doing it, but I need to make it relevant for BookTube. Otherwise, I
Sure.
can't make a video. I can't make a video if I don't
Sure.
make it
Right.
relevant.
You just be, here's my train ride. It's all
Yeah,
B-roll.
yeah.
It's not for the specific viewer, but it's great. And I noticed that you did one in the haunted house, which was
Mm-hmm,
incredible.
mm-hmm.
Yeah,
They're
I
everywhere.
want to say thank you to Master Sal. Says, I love watching Gavin too. Thanks for all the effort you put in. Love the reading. Love the reading all the series vlogs too. Yeah, me too. Thank you so much, Sal. It's very, very kind of you. Yeah, Chadia says you can take a book anywhere. I love
Mm-hmm.
traveling, still an introvert. Absolutely. Gets you out of having
Yeah.
to talk to people sometimes too if you have you just reading a book. So
If you don't want an excuse to talk to anyone, just open that book and just put your head in it.
absolutely. If Quinn says he can't wait, Quinn can't wait for your Halloween vlogs this year. There's
Can't wait
probably a
to.
lot of people that can't wait for that. Talking Story John says Gavin is so invited on our channel, he can hit up our spare bedroom to read something. So there you go.
Oh, well, I mean,
There
I
you
would
go.
absolutely love that. Imagine if I read Discovery in his bedroom. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
that would go viral. That would go
I
viral.
read it. Absolutely. So, speaking of different rooms in the house, I have to ask you, what is in your bathtub right now? Because when last we left off, folks, if you've not seen this episode, Gavin's showing a lot of books. And Gavin, how many books do you currently own right now, do you think? Around about.
Oh. Well, actually, I feel like I kind of know specifically because I have a spreadsheet. I love a spreadsheet. But
Okay.
I have about 2,100 books. Yeah,
About
which is
2,100 books.
mm-hmm,
Now,
mm-hmm.
clearly, he's got lots of library space. He's got lots of amazing bookshelves, but he also has a lot that he's got a great series called oh, come on, Emboss or Toss, which basically he's embossing it, he's keeping it, he's tossing it, he's getting rid of it. Tell us, you got to tell me what's going on with the bathtub.
I mean, look, I don't have that much space really. Like I really don't. But fortunately, the books that are in my bathtub, they are in boxes for one, so it's not like they're gonna get wet. They're not gonna get wet.
Okay.
It's all good. And plus, I use the shower. Like I have a shower in a different room, so I don't use the bath anyway. So it's all good.
Okay.
It's all good. They're not getting damaged, but they're actually more to unhaul. Like those are the books that I've been trying to unhaul for months. And like I do love a good clean out. I love being able to
Mm-hmm.
read something and know if it's for me or not. Or like my reading tastes change over time, and I might look at my shelves and think, that book doesn't really reflect who I am today, so I'm gonna maybe take this off my shelves. But yeah, I had I think 6 or 7 boxes of books in my bath that I'm donating to my local library. But I also have so many more boxes shoved in, corners in my house, in my cupboards, everywhere, because I've been trying to donate to my local library since last August, but they've been closed for renovations. But I did just recently, so you won't know this just yet. So this is breaking news.
Oh, we're
But
breaking it right here for whom
this
the bell tolls.
this is breaking news. Oh my gosh. So yeah, there is another local library to me that's volunteer led. So they need donations, and they are like appreciative of anything that they get so that they can put on their shelves. Anything they can't put on their shelves, they sell and stuff like that, and all that money goes back to the library. So I have got a new local library that's volunteer led, and I'm donating over like 500 books to them, and they said they want them all. I sent them a whole list via email, and I'm dropping them off at the library tomorrow. So all of those books are going to be out of the bath, and I'm actually going to have space again. So yay.
Unbelievable. Well, we're a very hot tub focused YouTube channel over
Mm,
here.
mm, mm.
We do quite a bit of hot tub content behind the scenes,
Nice.
and when I saw the bathtub was full of books, I had to
Oh.
make myself a note about that. Now, a lot of people are talking about your Halloween vlogs, and
Mm.
you're always reading, and you've got incredible reading sprints that go sometimes 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 hours. It's bonkers. I have to ask you, just from a creator to a creator, you are juggling multiple videos projects at once, seeming like constantly. Are you chaos with all of that? Are you order with that? Or are you some kind of like a high functioning cocktail between the two?
High functioning cocktail sounds perfect
Yeah,
in the way to describe me, honestly. Actually, I am filming this month every single day. I'm filming like a month in the life kind of thing of a full-time YouTuber. So I am like kind of going through my day to day and letting you know what I'm doing each day. And it isn't feasible whatsoever. Like what I actually do is not feasible because I work every day. I work every single day. I don't give myself a day off. And sometimes I'll work 13 hours in that day, or I'll work like 4 to 6 hours potentially. So
sure.
what I try to do is so I I love TV shows so much. I barely watch them anymore, but I love TV shows so much, and I like to pretend that my YouTube channel is a TV show. So what I try to do is to like keep things a little bit organized. Potentially, is to like like those Wikipedia pages
Hmm.
of television shows, like American television shows. I try to make like a little Wikipedia page for myself to like keep in like line with all of the content that I'm doing and producing, so that I can have somewhere where I can look back on and be like, oh yeah, like I have episode 5 of like the library challenge to do, so like that's going to be next up kind of thing. So I do those kinds of things because I first and foremost want to entertain people. I love entertaining people. I love making people laugh. So if I can like try and get it to a point where I'm like, oh, like my channel is like a TV show, then yeah,
Yeah.
it helps, and it also helps motivate me as well, because I'm like, obviously I'm not a TV show, but imagine if I was. Imagine
Oh,
if I
you'd
was
be
a
great.
television show. Yeah,
You, I
well,
mean, you are. Let's call it for what it is. You are a TV show. I mean, to me, your BookTube channel is separate from everybody else that I watch. Everybody has their strengths, right? But
mm,
you are on the highest end of entertainment for the viewer of any of the channels that I personally watch, and there's a lot of them. You get into books, yes, it is the core of your channel, but it
mm,
expands so far beyond just reading. It's a lifestyle type of a YouTube channel. It's a day in
mm.
the life every day of Gavin. And I think because of the fact that you share such joy, such passion for just life, at least that's how it comes through on the camera, that
Thank you.
it doesn't necessarily always matter, in my opinion, what particular book you might be reading at the time or what particular themes you're thinking about any stories. I think you are the draw because it's just a joy. It's just emanates joy from your channel. Um,
It's so funny you say that, actually, because I feel like people don't come to me for recommendations. Like I cannot recommend books to people. I actually struggle the most with recommendations. So I did used to work as a Waterstone's bookseller, and
Hmm.
that's when I did recommend books to customers, and I try to read as much, and I was good at doing that in person. But whenever someone asks me for a recommendation online, I struggle. And I struggle hard. So I don't ever really give recommendations because I don't really think, yeah, like when I do a vlog or anything, I mean, I do want to make sure that books are still relevant and important. But
Hmm.
yeah, I feel like if anything, I kind of want, like, so for instance, I just filmed that Haunted School video, and I do talk about the book every now and then, but I
Hmm.
genuinely think the probably the parts that people want to watch the most are the parts where I'm not reading the book and not talking about the book. So I feel like I'm in a very weird place at the minute. So
Hmm.
like with like who I am as a YouTube channel. And yeah, like I love books, I love reading so much, but I'm not the place to go for recommendations. There's
But there's
great
but there's
bookshelf channels that do that, but not
but
me.
there's plenty of places for that. And there's
True.
only one place that does what you do, and that's on Gavin Reads. I gotta say hi to my friend Vera. I have bookshelf envy from Gavin.
I
Uh,
have, like the recap videos that she does. Oh my god, I
mhm.
have envy there because I wish I could do videos like that, but I'm not talented enough. I'm
Well,
not
Vera
talented
is
enough.
so highly organized. I mean,
Mm,
she doesn't do as many videos as a lot of creators, but the ones that she does are very sophisticated and they're very well thought through and they're highly organized, and it's not turn on the camera and go and hit
mm,
upload. It's really very intentional is what she's
mm.
doing, and you are too, in different kinds of ways. But I think
I
there's a
try to be.
reason both of your channels are just incredible. First book you remember finishing, Gavin, and feeling
Ooh,
like, wait, this matters.
ooh. Can I answer this with a book that I didn't personally finish, but someone read it to me?
Yeah, of course. If it's
So when,
if it came to mind right away, it must be
yeah,
meaningful.
oh yes, honestly it is. It'll probably make sense in a second. But yeah, when I was a kid, and I honestly loved my English teacher so much, and he was also my form tutor as well, my form teacher. So like half an hour before school started, we'd come to form class, and we would, get the attendance stuff. And what our form teacher used to do. And I feel so bad because I cannot remember his name. I think it was Mr. Smith, but I don't know if that's because Smith is a rather, I guess, a common, surname.
Sure.
I think it was Mr. Smith. I might be right, I might be wrong, but he would read us as much Goosebumps as possible before class started. And that, I think, really got my love for reading started because he would do voices, he would kind of act it out a little bit, and because of him, I feel like that is where my passion for reading came from. And I didn't even finish the book. Well, I have finished it since, but like I didn't even finish the book myself. I was just riveted throughout. I can't. Well, I remember one of the books he did was Chicken, but that's one of the worst Goosebumps books. But he
Okay.
did go. He did go through a few Goosebumps books, and he just brought it to life. And I feel like it's so important to have so many like educators and teachers, especially when you're so young and so impressionable, to kind of give that passion to the students. And honestly, I feel like without him, I probably wouldn't. And I feel so bad that I only think his name is Mr. Smith. But yeah,
Mr.
I owe him so
Goosebumps.
much.
It's Mr. Goosebumps.
He can be Mr. Goosebumps now. Absolutely.
So, because that actually leads me into another question that I had, because in one of your videos you were talking about Goosebumps, and I want to know, is there a favorite creepy cover of yours from the Goosebumps series that you like, that just draws to you?
Mm. Oh, it's so funny you say this because the American covers and the British covers are different. And honestly, I feel like some of the British covers are so eerie because a lot of it is just someone drowning in goo. And I feel like that visual of someone drowning is terrifying. So there's one called The Girl Who Cried Monster. And in the UK, it is literally a girl screaming as she's drowning in goo. And I feel like because it's aimed for kids, it's not supposed to be that scary.
Yeah,
But that definitely makes me feel like I should not be reading this book. That's terrifying.
it's
I don't want to see
creepy.
someone drown. So yeah, I feel like a lot of them toe the line with that though. But for the American covers, I really do love the very first one, Welcome to Dead House, because you see this house and it's so creepy and the doors open slightly and there's some lights on inside and it's just so dark. And I feel like that might be one of my favorite spooky covers because you just don't know what's going to happen in that house. So I feel like that's probably one of my favorite like American Goosebumps
That's an
movies.
excellent answer. And I swear Gavin is not lying when he said I did not forward him these questions, because he actually just touched on another question that we're going to get to in a little bit. And I promise you, he has not done this. I got to say hello to our friend of the channel, Alan from the Library of Alexandria. Turn on the camera and go people catching strays out here for Ryan. No, I still like channels like that too. Obviously, some of my best friends do that on YouTube. And lately, that's all I've been doing is turning on the camera and going. But
I need channels like that myself as well. Honestly, like I love more than anything to watch someone sit down and talk about books. Just talk about books to me. Like that's all I want sometimes in a video. So like, say if I'm watching like Joanna, for instance, and like the way she talks about books, sometimes I'm like, oh, like I really do wish I was that analytical. Sometimes I wish I could. You know what? Sometimes I can be. When I'm doing like a full series reading vlog and I'm talking spoilers, I just find it so hard to talk about a book spoiler free. I find it so difficult. But if I'm talking about spoilers, so like when I'm talking about Stephen King or I'm doing my Goosebumps videos, I can talk about anything and everything because I can. But like sometimes I just want to hear someone's like spoiler free thoughts on something, and I could just sit there for hours and just watch people review books, and it's great to me.
And I think and Alan made a good point about people catching strays, but I will say this: in all fairness to the folks that turn on the camera and go and hit upload, there's a talent to that. Because I do it too. And if you can do that in one take and you're not editing anything and you can keep someone's attention for 15 to 30 minutes without zooms, without edits, with none of it, and you're just talking and people are paying attention, there's talent in that too. So I don't want anybody to feel like, you know, it's a stray, because it's not. I just have a very big appreciation because I know what goes into editing a normal video for me when I make an edited video. What I don't know is vlog videos, because of all the B-roll that you're taking. B-roll, folks, is just all the extra footage content that is being played, maybe with a voiceover that Gavin's doing behind it, or maybe he's just letting the sound of whatever is going on in the environment take the audio mic for a minute and bring us into wherever he's at. So I don't know what that's exactly like. And I know I don't know what it's like to be filming multiple videos at one time, because I've never done it. I do one, I either edit it or I don't, and I upload. And so we talked about this, you know, this kind of perfect cocktail of chaos and order. And I'm very jealous, I have to say, that you've been able to sort that out. And I really, really want to be able to do it. It's a goal. I suppose that means
I want to do a video where I don't have to edit, honestly. Like it must be so hard, Brian, because you've been doing that, and I'm like, I can't. I repeat myself so much. I'll start a sentence and then I'll mess up, so I'll start the sentence again. Sometimes I don't mess up the sentence. Sometimes I just say it again, thinking, oh, I probably could have said that better. I repeat myself so much, and I start. Oh my gosh, I don't know how you do it.
You know, I think that it's not that I don't do it. I just highlight it when I do it. So whenever I make a mistake or I say something twice or whatever, it's nod, nod, wink, wink to the viewer going, well, you know, you've just heard me say that twice now because the second time sounded even better than the first, and just move on. So it's kind of like a running clock that I've got in my mind that I'm listening to myself, and I know when I say a word and it just doesn't come out right, and I'll just keep trying until it does, and remind everybody that it's not an edited video, and you know, you get what you pay for here. So yeah, anyway, so one of the things that again came from one of your earliest videos, and maybe a lot of people don't know, is that I love the story that your aunt bought you Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban before you had even read, you know, Philosopher's Sorcerer's Stone or The Chamber of Secrets. Now, when you got that gift, did you know those other two books existed, or was it just like, I don't know what Harry Potter totally is?
Yeah, at the time I had no clue, because I think this was back in like 1999. This was a long time ago. So like, you know, like this was before any like popularity for it, I guess. But yeah, I got it for Christmas, and it was, it was always so lovely when my aunt did give me gifts, because she was the only person who would give me books. Like, she was the only person who would do that, and she would always inscribe at the front, so it would be like from your Auntie Barbara and like my cousins. So that was always so lovely. But yeah, I had genuinely no clue. And gosh, it has been a while since I even thought of that story, and now I'm like, what did I end up reading the first two first? Or did I
Yeah,
read?
you said you
I
went
think
back
I
and
did. Yeah,
got books 1 and books
yeah,
2, but
yeah,
I was just like, it's just funny
yeah.
because
It
I
is.
mean, but a lot of people don't give gifts as books. Like if you are
Mm-hmm,
a book reader, you may,
mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm.
you're trying to find a gift for somebody who's also a reader, then it's easy. Now it's just a matter of
Yes.
trying to figure out what's the
Yeah.
perfect book that this person hasn't read yet already.
Yeah, and I
Um,
feel bad for my aunt as well, because she would not have known that was the third book in a series. So, like, obviously, like, I didn't say anything to her at the time, I don't think.
yeah,
I was only, how old was I? I would have been like 7 years old, I think, at the time, or 6, 7 years old. And I just remember just being so appreciative anyway, because I was like,
yeah,
this is a book. And I mean, after that, my mum did like start to buy me books for Christmas. And
sure.
fun fact, I would try and open them before Christmas and try and repack them as well.
Of
So
course you did.
the following year, I did get some other books, and I just needed to know what they were, and so I would secretly open them, give them a little read, put them back in, cover it up, and then just keep reading them and putting them back in the wrapping, because I was very good at taking off the sellotape and
I
doing all
love
that.
that.
I was very good at that.
Are you a good
Um,
gift wrapper now?
I think so. I think I can be a kind of. But the only thing is, though, I don't really give that many gifts anymore, because my mum hates getting gifts. She isn't the
Okay.
biggest fan of it. Like, she is very hard to buy for. My dad, uh, complicated, but other than
Okay.
that, it's like, I don't really often, because even with my niece and nephew, so the only people I would really give gifts to these days are my niece and nephews. So they kind of just want money, or they just want like a download for a game or something, like a digital
Right.
download
It's a
for a game. And I'm
digital.
like, yeah, there's a lot of digital stuff. So I'm just like, okay, I'll give your mum the money for it, and she can
Yeah.
sort it out for you and stuff like this. So I don't often do it anymore. But if I do, then yeah, you'll know that gift is wrapped,
That
and
is
it's wrapped
wrapped.
well.
Well,
It's wrapped well.
Master Sal has a question for you. It says, Gavin, were you inspired by any booktubers on how far ahead you plan your
Mm.
videos? Very impressive. Again, I agree.
Yeah. There are some people who do YouTube full time who I really do admire, like Kayla from Books and Lala. She is fantastic at organizing videos, and like, she is one of my biggest booktube inspirations. And yeah, I feel like she is definitely one of them. The thing is, though, I don't think a lot of booktubers really show what their work schedule is like, or like how they
Hmm.
actually do it. So for me as well, being like full time, I don't know what I'm doing half the time, because it's not a union. There's not like a guidebook on how to do it properly or anything like that, because it's kind of all very singular, and you have to figure it out for yourself, kind of thing. So I a lot of it is just kind of like self-taught, of kind of trying to schedule things and keep things going. But I do know there are some full-time YouTubers like Kayla from Books and Lala
Sure.
who I'm inspired by, but I don't know how she does it. I don't know how a lot of people do it. I would love for more people to show their routine on like how they do booktube. I would love that so much. So
Well,
I need more of those.
if any of those people happen to be
Hmm.
watching,
Hmm.
absolutely, we would love to see that. I would love to see it
Yeah.
too. It almost
Yeah.
is like you have to become a project manager,
Hmm.
sort of the outline script writer, because you don't script
Hmm.
your videos, but you do
No.
kind of
I,
have an outline of how you're going
yes.
to present stuff in orders.
Yeah. So like, for instance, I do have like the Hornet School. I really do like a plan, but like, say for the Hornet School, I do have 3 pages
Hmm.
of like notes and stuff. Like, I have a breakdown. I have like
Hmm.
chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4. I have a breakdown of what I want to do during that time. But like, I don't really have like, I don't have a script. If I have a script,
Right,
it'll be for a skit. Like, if I do a
right.
skit, then, but I haven't really done a skit in a while. But I did used to
I,
like doing skits.
I was
I
going
did
to
used to like.
say Gavin cheerleader wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, no, that wasn't. But that
And
was more natural. That was more in the
yeah,
moment.
and you're talking to somebody who features skits on the channel from
Mm,
from time to time.
hmm.
Although they have been on hiatus as well, I suppose I
Yeah.
should give Rick Thunder's agent a call and see if I can get him to stop back. So I have to ask you, and we've talked about this a lot, that your channel is just it's just fun. And to me, it's almost like a co-host of, to you, is like there's Gavin and your co-host is fun. Do you set that in mind intentionally that you want to show such joy and fun? Is that just you by nature, or is off camera Gavin less so of that, or is, or what we see is what we get? How is the difference between on camera Gavin versus off camera Gavin?
Oh, okay. Let's go. Let's go a little bit deep. Let's go a little bit deep. So
Yeah,
I really had to like hide myself a lot when I was a teenager because of like my sexuality and stuff. Like I couldn't be myself in person as I was growing up a lot of the times. So I always have been like very bubbly and adventurous and like fun. And I was when I was a child, like say in primary school. I guess that's like middle school, I guess, in America or something like that. I was very outgoing. I was very outspoken. I was friends with everyone. And then yeah, like when you get into the teenage years and you feel like judged, like I feel like that's kind of what set me back in my teenage years, was I felt judged. And when I started feeling judged, I kind of like started to retreat in myself, and I just didn't really want to. I didn't really want to. Be myself in front of people because I thought, oh, they're just gonna say something mean or nasty and stuff.
sure.
So I'll just be quiet. I'll do my own thing over here. But I think what BookTube has allowed me to do has been to, and I did shed that skin by the time I did get to like college and university. That did kind of, but like I wasn't really the way I was when I was a child, kind of thing.
Hmm.
But yeah, as soon as I saw a booktube, it was kind of like, okay, like this is like an opportunity to still get judged, but hopefully I'll find the right people, kind of thing. Like
Yeah,
I'll be judged by the right people, and I really like, I love nothing more than being silly and being fun and maybe dressing up, or like kind of just taking the absolute mickey and yeah, having fun with it. But yeah, since doing booktube, it's allowed me to do that, so it is definitely very intentional now
yeah.
in doing that, because I feel like I'm making up for lost time in a way. Like I I hid myself for so long, and this is like the perfect opportunity for me to kind of reclaim a little bit, I
Yeah,
guess, for like what I kind of lost during my teenage
sure.
years. So I
Well,
still feel like a teenager at heart. So
so when you say the lost time, tell
mm,
walk me through that a little bit. Like, what year was it? Were you 12? Were you
mm,
13? Until
yeah.
what age would you say that you were sort
Mm.
of kind of reserving yourself, not wanting to be judged?
It really was all of my teenage years.
All
So
of your
when I
teenage years.
was, yeah, so when I was 11, so I think from when I was 11 was when I started secondary school, which is like everyone starts, I guess, at that time in the UK. But like what happened was, I like my mum and dad had split up, and I had to go to a totally different school to all of my friends. So I had to go to a school where I knew absolutely no one, and so like that kind of like there was a lot of setbacks after that. And yeah, from I think the age of 11 till, yeah, I would probably say around about like 20
Okay.
is when like I kind of felt like, oh, I can't really be myself. So that's 9 years is a long time keeping
Especially
things
those
in.
years.
So
Especially those years,
yeah.
because those years seem like the older you get, I've noticed that the years fly by, in our
Mm,
perception. But those,
mm,
11 to 20 can
mm,
kind of feel like 30 years, particularly if you're not really being able to be yourself. Because every
mm,
day sort of feels like a week, I would imagine, under that,
yeah.
those circumstances.
Oh, you did not want to know me between the ages of 11 and 20. I tell you, I was, well, I mean, I wasn't awful or anything, but I just wasn't as open, I guess. And like, I probably was a lot more reserved. And I guess making friends was very hard, even though I was friends with everyone before that. It was like something where I was just like, I need to protect myself. I need to
Hmm.
shut as many people out as possible. So you would not have wanted to know me, but definitely not to make it like dark or depressing or anything, but
No, but
yeah,
hey,
it's like
this is what I like to do on the show. We want to try to get into things about
mm,
booktubers that maybe we don't hear about all that often, and
true.
show, deeper sides, because you are
Mm,
more than just Gavin, the travel vlogger, booktuber. This is meaningful, and the people that you have 100,000 subscribers. There's a lot of people that are very interested in who you are as a person, and I think that sharing some of these experiences only enriches that experience for your viewer, but also
mm,
brings you closer connection to those viewers. And I would imagine that when you say that I may not have liked you in those years because you weren't as fun and you were more reserved. Do you feel like you were was did any like kind of anger stuff boil up on the inside because you weren't allowed to kind of be who you wanted to be for such a
Oh, yeah.
long period of time?
Yeah, I think when I was 14, that was the worst. I think that was the worst, and I was definitely an angry teenager at the age of 14. And nothing really specific happened when I was 14.
Hmm.
I just remember 13, 14. I just remember being a bit of a rebel. I was like, I was kind of pushing back by that point because I remember getting in trouble at school, and I would never get into trouble at school. And I was talking back to teachers, and I wasn't doing my homework. And it was just at that time I was just like, okay, this is a bit of a breaking point. And I couldn't think of that at the time, but like looking back on it now, I definitely saw that as like, okay, it's been a few years,
Sure.
my whole family life shifted. I've been keeping myself to myself, and it kind of just like festered. But I did actually, I think around about that time as well, I met a couple of friends who I'm still friends with to this day, and they still stay at mine every now and then. They're the longest friends I've ever had. So like it's been like 20 years now. So yeah, and I still see those two friends, and I think having actual like friends who did kind of, slip through the cracks there and actually become a friend, like
Right.
that really helped. I think.
And,
Then
and saw and
after
saw the real
14,
you. Right, because
yeah,
you
yeah,
you realize that there's a couple of people out there that know me for me and they like me
hmm,
for me. So maybe there's
yeah,
more than two people out there that would
hmm,
like me. Did you when you were growing up in your secondary school, was it a big town? Was it
mm.
small?
Yeah. It was a very big school.
Okay,
It was. I mean, I do live in a smallish town. Well, small compared to other places in the UK. But it's still very big on education. So there's
sure.
lots and lots of schools. And so the school that I went to, it was a big school. It was very big. Yeah.
Interesting. That's it's a hard thing, it's a hard
Mm,
thing to go through those teenage years because when you talked about being 14 and being rebellious, a lot of times kids are doing that to test their limits, right? They want to
mm-hmm,
find out what their boundaries are, what they can get away with, what they can't get away with, and all of that.
mm-hmm.
I don't It doesn't sound to me like that was your kind of behind the scene motivation that maybe you were even unaware of. It seems like more frustration and just like I just want to be
Yeah.
me,
Yeah.
and
That's
if I
why I
can't
do
be
give
me,
yeah, I do give a lot of grace to a lot of book characters around that age. So I have read a lot of like middle grade and young adult novels. So I do give a lot of grace to characters who act a certain way because I'm like, what's going on under the surface? Like, like they're acting this way. Like, sure, their actions can be annoying, but like, why? Why are they acting that way? So I do give a lot of grace to characters because I went through that myself, I think.
it's very cool.
Mm.
So just be
Oh,
says, as someone who has met Gavin and who has seen him in Patreon, lives a lot. I lives a lot. I sorry,
lives.
my
Patreon live
live on
shows.
Patreon
Yeah.
lives. Got it.
Yeah.
I can tell you what you see is Gavin. Yeah, absolutely. I've got a pretty good, sniff tester on when I'm watching somebody, if, I'm watching a real person or if I'm watching something that is just
Mm.
clickbait or whatever. And you're not. You are the real deal. Although I will say, the very first time I ever came across one of your videos, I was so mad at you. I was so angered. I was fuming mad because I think I had just finished The Wheel of Time.
Oh.
And for whatever reason, the first video that I saw of yours was, I'm going to read book one and I'm going to read book 14 or book
Mhm,
11 or 12 or whatever the last one
mhm,
number is. And I'm going to omit the entire middle of it. And I was just
mhm.
like, who does this guy think he is? How can he skip the entire Wheel of Time? Is he just farming content? What is he doing? Walk me through that one because now that I know who you are, I
Mhm.
think I mean, if you did it today, I would just be like, "Oh, Gavin's being Gavin."
Yeah,
But at the
he's being silly.
time, but at the time, I was like, "What in this? What is he doing?" Can you for some of us who don't, or maybe some people who are watching this who are unaware of this, will you walk us through kind of how
Mhm.
you thought to do that and what that experience was like for you? Because the Wheel of Time is kind of a seminal series for a lot of
Mm,
fantasy booktubers or
yeah.
booktube viewers, I should say.
Mhm. Yeah. So, there's you know how I say like I love watching other booktube, well, not sorry, other YouTube niches,
Yeah.
and I love like kind of trying to take like elements and like feel inspired by them and bring them into booktube. So there is a reactor on YouTube called Dylan is in Trouble. I think that's
Okay.
his name. He keeps changing his name. But he reacts to the first and last episodes of television shows. So he reacts to the pilot and then he reacts to the series finale. And so I was like, oh, I would love to do something like that for books. So, like back in 2022, I actually did the Throne of Glass series, and so I read the first Throne of Glass book, and then I read the last Throne of Glass book, and I was so confused, and it was funny. Like I love doing things that are funny, so like that
Hmm.
made me laugh, that made me giggle. But a lot of Throne of Glass fans were so mad at me, and I was kind of like, I feel bad, but at the same time, it's a laugh, it's a laugh. And then I did it with the Mortal Instruments. I did the first and last book of that. And so I didn't do it for a while. And then 2024 rolls around, and I was like, okay, what do I want to do next? I know I'll do Wheel of Time, because as much as I'm interested in that series, I'll never, ever read
Hmm.
the full thing. Like, I know myself too well. I feel like I would never get through the whole thing. So what I want to do was, I still want to experience it. So I'll read the first book, and then I'll read book 14. And I'm going to tell you something, Brian. I actually enjoyed both books, even though I really enjoyed the first book. So I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't
Hmm.
go straight in the last book, because I could actually read the next book. I actually want to read the next book. And I was like, no, I'm dedicated now. So I went into book 14 and I still liked it. I still liked the
Hmm.
last book. So I was like, oh, so I might actually go back and read the rest of them at some point. But
At
at the
some
minute,
point.
at some point I might, but like I got all that I needed to from
Yeah.
those two books, and
I mean,
I liked it.
hey, if you had a good time with it, that's all that matters. I do know that so many fandoms get just bonkers
Mm-hmm.
crazy mad and would look at that as like you're not
Mm-hmm.
respecting my fandom or my
Mm-hmm.
series or whatever that is. But I think the more they get to know you,
Mm-hmm.
they're completely fine with it because they know
Yeah.
why you're doing kind of what you're doing. And like I said,
Yeah.
for me to have that be the first time that I ever saw you, I was like, what in the
Yeah.
world?
Yeah.
This guy,
I got comments like that. I did get comments, and like fortunately the video hasn't like taken off or anything. It's done reasonably well, but it hasn't like taken off. I feel like if the Wheel of Time fans got a hold of it, maybe it
mhm,
would be a different story. But I've been pretty fortunate that it didn't
yeah,
take off, because
yeah.
then I probably
And,
would have gotten so much
and
hate.
here I am, and
So
here
much
I
hate.
am dying.
Look,
I'm
it's
sorry.
fine. It's fine. I just love that that was your first impression of me. I love
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
I love
it's
that.
crazy. Let me ask you, so totally different topic, and some of these questions just come out of nowhere. But we are talking about travel, and I see that you do these
Mm,
vacation trips with viewers. Are
mm,
these like book clubs with cocktails, or are they
mm,
full blown literary adventures? Could you walk us
mm.
through what it's like to take
Yeah.
a trip with Gavin?
Yeah, well, we have tried to be literary. We have tried to make them book club related. But as soon as you're in Egypt or Japan or anywhere out of China where I've just been to recently, the last thing you kind of want to do is read. Or the last thing you kind of want to do is talk about books, because you're meeting people for the first time. And what I love about these trips as well is that we are meeting very like-minded people. Like, we do love books, but we are like people who love so many other things as well. So yeah, as soon as we all get together, we're talking about anything and everything, and it feels so chill and it feels so good because of that. Because I feel like maybe something that maybe puts people off from traveling is that you kind of don't know what you're doing, you don't know where you're going, and you don't know the people you're going to be around. But what like the trips I do offer is being with people who you semi know from book communities, people you
Hmm.
know you'll get along with because you have the same interests, and everything is pretty much done for you. You know, the itinerary, all of like the booking of things, all of that's pretty much done for you. So it's more of like a we get to experience these incredible countries. So like for China, we went to the Great Wall of China and we did these incredible things. Like, you kind of don't really want to read a book when you're there, kind of thing. So
Right.
we do try, and we actually did in Egypt. We had a book club for What the River Knows. Like, that was like the book club book. I was like, I'll try and read this either on the trip or before the trip, and we'll talk about it. So a lot of us did read it, but then we didn't really talk about it because we were too busy. Oh, that pyramid looks amazing, or oh my god, I can't believe
Yeah.
I'm at the Sphinx. It's just it's one of those things where we try to make it literary related, but it's hard. It's a lot.
it's we try, the
We
intention
try,
is
we
good,
fail.
but
Yeah.
the Sphinx is here, and the Sphinx has other
Hmm.
ideas for our topic of conversation. If you could pack 3 books for a
Mm.
year-long trip around the world, what 3 books has Gavin taken, and what are you leaving behind with tears in your eyes?
Oh gosh, this is interesting. I'm at the point in my life where I kind of don't really know what my favorite book of all time is. I'm kind of navigating because I feel like my tastes have changed so much over the years. But yeah, I'm like, who's my favorite author? What's my favorite books? So trying to pick 3 books or even 1 book is a bit of a mighty task. But I probably would say if I could get the whole bind up because I don't actually own it myself, but
Hmm.
the Lord of the Rings, I would take the Lord of the Rings,
Okay.
like the full bind up of all 3 books in one. I only have them separately. So I feel like if I was not cheating at this question, I would probably take the Fellowship of the Ring. I would take
Yep.
that one. There is a middle grade book that I absolutely love called Frost Heart by Jamie Littler. That is one of my favorites. And I would probably take that as well. Um, and I would probably also take maybe the first book in the Edge Chronicles. I don't know if anyone really knows what that is, but it was in the
I
90s.
don't.
It's a fantasy children's series from the 90s that like predates Harry Potter in my head, and it's like one of my original loves as well. And got also another book that got me into reading. And I would probably take the first book in that. It's called Beyond the Deep Woods, and that just
So what
speaks to
I'm
me.
hearing though are those 3 books, they seem comfortable to you. They seem
Yeah,
like
yeah.
warm memories that you're
Mm-hmm.
bringing with you wherever your travels are taking you for that 1 year. What
Mm-hmm.
are you crying and leaving behind that almost made the cut, that you just with tears in your eyes say, I'll see you in a year from now?
Oh gosh, oh yeah, probably the Hunger Games series because
The
that
Hunger
I'm
Games.
obsessed. I am obsessed with the Hunger Games series so much. But that's probably one that I wouldn't take because that would make me cry while I'm there. Like I wouldn't say
Okay.
the Hunger Games is not comforting whatsoever, but definitely one of my
Right.
favorite series of all time because I just love it so much. But yeah, I gosh, yeah. Do I feel bad because I'm like I don't think I would mind leaving all the other books. Like
That's okay.
but that sounds so evil to me.
Don't
Um,
don't tell the books in the bathtub. They're not the
I
only
know.
ones on the way out, right?
Oh gosh, yeah. Everything else is safe. Everything else is safe, but
Yeah, you better
let go
remind
in.
them there's a couple on the shelf behind you starting to kind of wobble a little bit. You've been to these haunted houses. Now
Mm-hmm.
they're starting to wonder. By the way, for those of you who are wondering, we've gone about an hour, and like I told Gavin before we got started, I got 3 pages of questions. We just finished page 1. So we're for sure not getting to all of them, which is great. This is exactly where I want to be. What's a massively hyped book that you read that it seems like everybody else loved, but it just
Mm-hmm.
flopped for Gavin?
Okay, don't tell Laura this. I mean, actually, you can because she already knows. But anything by Emily Henry, anything by Emily Henry, I can't get away with. So I'm not a big fan. I do try contemporary romance a lot. I really do. But a lot of times it's just a big miss for me. So I really don't like anything Emily Henry has written. Unfortunately, it's not anything against Emily Henry. I'm sure she's absolutely lovely, but I need a little bit more with my romances, and she just doesn't really scratch my romance itch per se. Another one is A Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson. Everyone hates me because I don't like that book. When I reviewed that book for the first time, everyone expected me to like it. Like, even some of my booktube friends thought I would like it. And then I said, oh, it's like 2 stars. People were like up in arms about it. They were like, how could you not like it? How could you not like it? And the thing is with me, Brian, though, I don't like second person all that much. So
Right.
whenever a book is second person, I kind of it really does depend, but the majority of the time I'm not the biggest fan. So yeah, so that was another one that people hated me for because they wanted me to love it.
Who can hate Gavin? You guys, look at me. I'm looking at you right in the
Uh,
camera. You can't hate Gavin. He's too
yeah, you
lovable.
can. You can try. You can try, and I'm sure you can. I'm sure you can. You just got to give it more oomph.
Charmaine, thank you so much for that compliment. It's all the guest. It's not me. Another author here is in the chat, JCM Byrne, author of the Hybrid Helix series. So second person who's objectively bad. Well, it's hard to pull off in a way that is compelling because it is so out of the normal that our minds are accustomed to.
Yeah.
We do third person all the time. First person, we maybe get 20 to 30% of the time, but that second, person is less than 1% of the time. And I think
Yeah.
our brains sometimes just aren't really there. It's not what we pick up a book for.
Yeah. I agree with that because when a book is telling me, "Oh, I did this and I did that," but I didn't know. I didn't. My brain automatically rejects what that second person narration is telling me of what I did, and I know I didn't do that. So don't tell me
Right.
what I did because I didn't.
Right. Unless it was something awesome. Then
Yeah.
yes, then of
Yeah.
course
You
I did
saved the
that.
world. Yay.
You made everybody's day brighter and sunnier.
Ah,
Of course I did. Absolutely.
yes. That I can get on board with.
Master Sal says, Gavin, you like superheroes, you must check out Wistful Ascending. It was so much fun.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I love that book, but
I would love to.
it's cool. It's the first book's called Wistful Ascending. It's about a space superhero who is sort of retired and he's taken a job on a sentient space station that he's just towing in spaceships into the docking of the station and all the hijinks that ensue. And it's kind of a mix of comedy and superhero and sci-fi. I think
love
you
that.
might like it. And he's
Yeah.
he's the author right here. So you, as we've talked about, you are wildly creative. What is a video idea that just completely flopped for you, and what did you learn from it? Because you can't take
Ooh.
the kind of risks that you do and not have something from time to time
Yeah.
just tank.
Well, yeah, this is a one that I did have to scrap, but I did start it. But I had to scrap it because it just wasn't working. But I did have this idea of I would go into all these different charity shops, all these different random, I don't know what you would probably call it elsewhere, but they're just like Goodwill places,
Yeah,
like
thrift,
people, but
thrift
yeah,
shops, that type of thing. Yeah.
yeah, so I would go into as many of those as possible, and I would look at the books, and I would try and find as many books as I could that had a bookmark in it. That so like, or maybe someone left it unread. Like they got halfway through, they decided not to finish the book. And my idea was I would find as many of these books and finish it for that person. Like I would I'll finish it
Oh
off
my
books
God, I
that
love
other
that
people had
idea.
started kind of thing. But the thing is though, I started it and it just wasn't working. Like for one, I could barely find books with bookmarks in them. I was even
Right.
trying to find like a receipt or just something that was in them to indicate, even like
A
event
corner
page, like,
dog-eared. Yeah.
like if someone dog-eared the page, that would be great too. But oh my gosh, I was flicking through so many of them and just nothing was happening. But I did get a couple, and they just were not books. I can't remember what they were now, but they were just not books that I would enjoy at all. And I did try so badly, but I started from where they left off, and I couldn't. Like, I didn't have the personality for it. Essentially, like I couldn't make a joke out of it. Because if I could try and just like make it a little bit funny, that would be fine. But I just couldn't. I couldn't even think of how to review these books that I was starting in the middle of. And I've reviewed a book that I haven't read the previous 12 books of. So it's not a
Right.
problem of like I don't know what's coming beforehand. I couldn't have the personality for that video. So
Did-
I had to drop it.
Had to scrap. Well, I think that's a great answer to the question because that is a wildly creative idea. I've never seen anybody do that. That's part of been my issue for the last month in my own channel and making content because this is my favorite thing to do. Like I love getting these one-on-one live streams where I get to really know somebody who does this. And in your case, professionally, you are a professional YouTuber, you are a full-time person. And I absolutely love that. But I also love making creative videos. And that's sort of where my brain has been at lately going, all right, if I'm going to turn the camera on, I want to do something fun. I want to do something that is more than, hey, this is what I read this week. And just kind of life has happened and I've lost a bit of that creativity, but I suspect it will be back. One of the questions that I had for you, of course, before I even answer this, I got to ask you this. Master Sal wants to know, have your cats ever made videos or recording impossible?
Oh my gosh. Yes, the amount of times I have to try and stop filming because you can hear the cats fighting in the background. Like they love each other so much, they're brothers, but they'll start fighting. And a lot of times I'll just like sit and watch. And sometimes it's funny because I do a lot of vlogs. So I can kind of incorporate it. But the one thing I can't do is when they're eating and like I'm trying to like film and I can hear them eating. I don't like I know a lot of my viewers don't like mouth sounds, so I try to edit as much of that out as possible. So yeah, a lot of times when they do that, I do have to stop. But you know, a lot of their antics do make it into my videos because I am fortunate that I do vlogs and I can just be like, oh, the cats are fighting again or things like that. So yeah, yeah, Ash and Tobu, honestly, they are the loves of my life
Okay,
as much as they drive me wild.
so I have a question now. Is it one of these cats that when you leave your place and you're walking out sometimes, there's a cat there? Which cat is
Mm,
that?
mm. Oh, the one outside. The one outside.
Yes.
Oh, that's a stray. That is a stray cat, and I feed that cat. I feed it, so it keeps coming back for more.
Because I've been trying to get my brain around this
Mhm,
because I've
mhm,
seen enough Gavin videos. I know who his cats are inside,
mhm,
whose cat is that out there, and he shows up,
mhm,
or he or she, I don't know what it is, but it's
mhm.
in a bunch of videos. It's great.
Yeah,
It's like a
yeah.
special guest star.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not 100. I think the cat is a she. But yeah, I feel like she is a recurring guest star at this point. I think
She
you're absolutely right.
is.
Stealing the show, I tell you, because she's so beautiful,
Absolutely.
so beautiful.
You have to put some credit in there. We touched on this a little bit, and like I said, I didn't share these questions, folks. I promise,
Mm,
but I want to ask you about UK publishing versus US
mm,
publishing, and what are some of the difference you've noticed in cover design or
mm,
marketing or even reader culture
mm,
that people, most of the viewers that I have, actually, I shouldn't say most, a fair amount of my viewers are from overseas, for me, but
mm,
most are based in the US. When we
mm,
talk about the differences, and there's a lot of them, what have you noticed?
mm. Well, especially since I did work in a bookstore, so I could see a lot of
Yeah.
trends changing over time as well. So it was very fascinating to me because it wasn't until like the dawn of book talk when I think there was like a little bit more of a blurred line between them. But I will say, like, say for instance, differences with covers. I feel like maybe people in the UK need something a little bit more stylistic in order for like to grab something because I've realized when you do like whenever I've seen like a UK covers versus US covers kind of video or anything, I feel like UK covers have a little bit more style to them, a little bit. Like they
Hmm.
seem a little bit more. I don't know, especially middle grade as well. Middle grade have a lot more like colorful covers and a little bit like random. I wonder if I have any examples. There was one that I think I donated the American edition to. Um,
It's
the
probably in the bathtub.
It is. I think it's in the bathtub. But yeah, for instance, like the UK cover for Pinch of Magic is like so magical. It's like so imaginative. It's so colorful, and it's got like so many different stylistic things on, like little icons and things that represent the story. But then you have the American cover, and it's like three girls standing there, and like it does still look magical. Don't get me wrong, but it doesn't have the same kind of vibe to it.
Yeah.
So I feel like with the UK, I feel like there's maybe a little bit more imagination there. I feel like with the US, I feel like maybe they like a lot more typography, so they love I guess more like big writing and big text and stuff like that on
Sure.
the covers. But yeah, ever since like I think the dawn of book talk, that's kind of been blurred a little bit, especially with reading tastes, because a lot of people do love the like the TikTok sensations, and you have things like Akatar and
Hmm.
like They Both Die at the End and Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo and things like that that have really taken off. And so I feel like reading tastes themselves might be more similar than they used to be like 10 years ago. Uh,
Sure.
but yeah, I feel
Well, the
like
world is certainly getting smaller,
yeah.
because you're seeing, like you said, TikTok, all the social media from,
Hmm.
it doesn't make a difference when I'm watching you. I don't necessarily know that the book that you're holding up is really designed mostly for a European audience or a UK
Hmm.
audience, compared to what I might see at a Barnes and Noble here.
Hmm.
It's a fascinating thing. Maybe I'll take a look at that for one of my own videos one of these days, and
Yeah,
just
that would be good.
and kind of dig deep into. I'll try to get a guest that maybe works, corporate
Mm.
Barnes and Noble or something like
Yeah,
that, and talk
maybe.
about, or maybe even a publisher
Hmm.
that, what goes into a decision on a
Yeah.
cover, and why do you do two different covers?
And then you have like book boxes, and they come out with some of the best book covers I've ever seen. Like
Right.
a lot of them, a lot of the times they do, and so sometimes I get them a little bit mixed up, because it's been a while since I've been inside an actual bookshop. To be honest, I feel like most of my books now seem to be from book boxes, but they do end up kind of, I feel like, blasting the UK and US covers out of the water half the time. So, like, say the Dragon Ball chair, for instance, I'm reading this at the moment. The cover for this is
Nice.
like the best cover I've ever seen
Isn't it
on
though?
this on this version of the book. And
Yeah.
I'm doing a read along for it on Sunday. And Aaron from Booked and Busy, she hosts it. She's done the thumbnail for it, and you can see four different covers on this thumbnail, and you can see the difference between them all. And yeah, it just like blows my mind how like it's the same story,
Right.
but you get a little bit of a different vibe from each one. And I think like from this one I get the epicness of this
Yes.
one, whereas in other ones it's like so understated that I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I kind of don't really know what I'd expect going into it. So I feel like book boxes are just like taking over when it comes to book covers
I think
as
you're
well.
totally right. I mean, they say don't judge a book by a cover, but in this
Mm-hmm.
particular case, you almost have to, because I'm
Mm-hmm.
very familiar with the book that you've just held up. I've got it behind me,
Mm-hmm.
and I've
Hey.
seen the original many, many times.
Mm-hmm.
And that book that you just held up is a showstopper. It absolutely is. If it's sitting right in front of you,
Mm-hmm.
you have to look at it.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
massive.
it's a, how about the books 3 and 4, right? I mean,
Oh
they had to put it into two different volumes because it's sucker. Are you going to be
yeah.
reading that whole series or just the first book for now? Or are you
Yeah,
going to
the
just
whole
read the last
series.
paragraph of the last book and call it a day?
That is actually, you know what? Actually, I'll only show up to the first and last live show, and I'll
Yeah,
only read the first and last. That's a great idea. That is a
there you
great
go.
idea. Thanks
I
for that,
read
Brian.
I read a whole paragraph of Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn, and here's what I loved about it. Oh my gosh.
I got the whole story from it.
And you got what you needed to know. There was a
Exactly.
lovely chair. It was made of dragon
Mm-hmm.
bone. It's like, a
Mm-hmm.
book report that you would do as a kid, but you never actually read the book.
Oh,
Tell me
actually,
about the Great Gatsby. Well, he was
oh,
great. Yeah.
yeah, that actually reminds me of the earlier question where you said about, oh, what's an idea that kind of flopped, kind of thing. Another one was that I was going to pretend to read books for a vlog, and like I had to BS my way through it and see if people noticed, and people would have to like guess. Like I think I was going to do like three, and one of them I wasn't going to read, but I was going to talk about it like I had, and I was going to
Sure.
get everyone to guess which one it was. That was another idea that I had, but I kind of just like flopped.
They can't all be winners. I mean,
Exactly.
it's like if you watch like people like Conan O'Brien or people who've worked in the writers' room at Saturday Night Live, the
Mm-hmm.
amount of sketches that never make it on the
Mm,
actual show is probably
yeah.
equal to the amount that actually do. So you
Mm-hmm.
always kind of have to be, thinking pretty creatively. Could you tell me who's one booktuber, either big or small, who just
Mm,
inspires you creatively and why?
mm. Oh, I love. Well, I've got a few, but one of them is Jesse the Reader, who was one of the first people I ever discovered on BookTube, and I was so thankful as well because I do a library challenge series, and I ask one person every month if they can send me a video clip of them giving me a challenge. And so I did get Jesse the Reader, and I was scared as well because I was like, I don't know how you do it, Brian. I don't know how you ask people to do things. I hate asking people to do things for me because I feel bad because I never want to put someone in a position where they have to say no. So I would rather just not ask, even if they could
Sure.
do it. I just like it takes so much strength to come up to someone and be like, I like, could you do something for me? Like, honestly, okay if you can't, but you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
like, I when I asked Jesse the Reader, I thought, oh, could you just like give me like a little challenge if that's okay? And he was like, obviously up for it. Like,
Yeah.
I have so much of this fear asking people to do things, and it's so unwarranted because I feel like everyone is up for anything, and so
Absolutely.
it's the thought of doing it that's scarier than actually doing it. So I definitely look up to him because he was like one of my inspirations. Read by Zoe is another one, but she hasn't made booktube content in about 6 years, 5 or 6 years. So I'm very sad about that. Kayla from Books and Lala, she does a lot of experimental and creative videos. She's awesome. Um, and yeah, just like a lot of the people who I hang around with, like Gabby Reads.
Hmm.
I love watching a lot of these live shows. These really do. You know what? Actually, I want to say this because it hasn't happened and it probably won't happen. But with For Whom the Bell Tolls, the Fantasy Network, Why Read, things like that really inspired me because I was like, oh, I really want to do something similar. I wanted to do like a booktubers on booktubers kind of thing. Have you ever seen Variety when they get two actors to like talk to one another and they talk about different things like their craft, their projects, things like that? It was like actors on actors, that's what theirs is
Yeah.
called. So I was like, oh, we're doing like booktubers on booktubers, and we're going to talk about the craft, we're going to talk about just like loads of different things. And I wanted to do that, but then I backed out of it. I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. So like these kinds of live shows where you actually
Yeah.
where you're part of the community just like inspires me so much because you're connecting with so many different people, you're introducing so many people to so many different viewers who might not have seen them before, and just like it's one of the best part about the book community is when you see people interact and you see people get together, whether it's for readathons or live shows or reading sprints or anything. So yeah, I get inspiration from every single place, and booktube is like full of you guys just inspiring me every day. So yeah.
Absolutely. I totally agree. You've done this longer than most people have jobs, or at least keep, current jobs. What keeps you coming back to do it daily? Like you said, again, and this is something that you mentioned, and I want to kind of key in on this. You said you don't take a day off, and I don't either. We are crazy. We both need to stop that because
Yes.
even though I'm way older than you by like a million years, I know that it's not good for any part of us. It's not good for our health. It's terrible for our creativity when we don't give our mind the rest and the recuperation time that it needs to be creative. I can tell you, I don't know if there's going to be a whole lot of people that can relate to what you said about you work every single day more than I do because it's not necessarily just YouTube. It's my other businesses that I do. I have a real hard time taking that rest. What keeps you
Yes.
energized and coming back when you don't take that rest? Because most people do. They're not crazy like you and I are.
Drugs. I'm kidding. I don't do
Lots
I
of
don't do
drugs. Well, there you go. Jimmy was right. Jimmy, I owe you $10.
I'm kidding. What keeps me going is one, I am just so fortunate and so lucky to even do this in the first place. Like, not a lot of people can say they can kind of read for a living and make videos for a living. And so I just, every single day, I just think, gosh, like, how lucky am I, And I have to repeat that as well in the month in the life video I'm currently filming because it does look insane that I am working every single day and I'm working all these hours. And I'm like, I don't want anyone to think I'm complaining or anything. Like, I'm so fortunate and I'm so lucky to do this. So I have so much gratitude every single day for that. And two, another thing is I just, I don't make videos that I'm not looking forward to making. So I've made it harder for myself, absolutely, because I don't do like sit down videos or anything.
Hmm.
I would love to do like TBR videos. I would love to do more like just direct recommendation videos because that would help me out so much because I feel
Sure.
like I need to do a schedule. I need to do like at least 2 videos a week or every video every 5 days kind of thing. And it would help me out so much if I could just do that. But I just don't really make videos that I'm not excited to do. And
Yeah.
so I have things to look forward to, and so I do my Halloween videos because I love doing them, even though they put me into debt because of how expensive they are. Oh my god!
Right.
Do you know how much it is to rent an abandoned haunted castle
I
for
just love
like
it.
4 hours? It's like 700, £800 just for like four hours. It's like
Just,
$1,000.
yeah,
It's like it genuinely it's insane to me like how much it costs, but it makes me so excited and it gets me so excited to do it. So
same.
I really do have things to look forward to, and that's something that I always want to do. So whenever I'm feeling like a little bit down, and I'm like, oh, I feel like too overwhelmed, or I'm feeling a little bit depressed, I'm like, well, what do I have to look forward to? And so
Yep.
I think of things like, oh, I've got a trip to Norway, as you said earlier.
Yep.
I've got a trip to Norway coming up where I get to meet so many amazing people from the book community. I have my haunted videos I genuinely love doing so much. I have those, and I just focus on the things that I love and I just keep doing those things. And if I ever start to make videos and I don't enjoy what I'm doing, that's when I'll quit. That's when
Right.
I'll
That's
I'll
when you
get
got to
a
take a
different
break.
job.
Yeah,
That's when
or
yeah,
or
gotta
step
gotta
away
take
for a minute.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like I don't want to get to that point. I feel like maybe in 2023, I did kind of get to that point where I did have a little bit of a breakdown and I was like, okay, I need to make some changes here. And I did. That's why I started making changes. Obviously, I still, go crazy with the schedule and stuff, but I'm still enjoying what I do every day. So,
And
you know,
it makes
that's
it,
the main
it
thing.
doesn't feel as much of work, even though
Hmm.
it really is work.
Yeah,
I,
exactly, exactly.
I get that. So let's just say you get one perfect reading day. What's
Mm,
the weather? What's the book? What's the
mm,
location? What's the vibe?
mm.
Set the
Oh,
scene for us.
oh. Perfect reading day would be a bit of rain, a bit of thunder and lightning, potentially. I actually don't get a lot of thunder and lightning where I live, but I do get a lot of rain. I'm in England, so
Yep.
we get a lot of rain. So I like a little bit of rain tapping on the window, and I do like to have also still have a bit of ambience on. I have a coffee. I did have a decaf coffee when we started. I did drink most of it, but I just love like a hot drink or something just to keep those really cozy vibes going. And on that particular day, I would love to be reading a horror. Like I would love a horror book that I would just devour in that kind of setting. I not that I would think horror is my favorite genre. It would probably be fantasy, but in that scenario,
Yeah.
I would want to be reading a horror in that scenario.
Oh my
So
gosh.
that would probably be one of the perfect reading days. And I would also have Ash and Tobu lying beside me, and not making any noise. I mean, they can purr, but not whinging or anything. They have to be quiet. So that would be a purr. It would never happen, but that would
They'd
be the
be
perfect
there,
reading.
but just
Mm-hmm.
muted.
Mm-hmm.
They're
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
they're part of the vibe, but they're not.
Yes.
They're not
Yes.
they don't get a speaking role in
Yeah.
that
No.
particular deal.
No. No.
Makes
No.
it makes sense. Your channel is like I've mentioned, it's just a full on blown brand of reading and joy. What is the legacy you hope to leave with your content? And it's not a question
Mm,
that maybe you've really thought much of, because when you're
mm,
in it, right, and you're making videos every
mm,
single day, you don't really think about what am I leaving
mm,
down the road 10, 20 years
mm,
from now. But when you think about it, what is kind of the hope that you would like people to take away from watching
mm.
as many Gavin videos as they do?
Yeah. I feel like maybe I have thought about it subconsciously. Oh, is that the right word? Like subconsciously. Like
Yeah,
maybe like deep down I kind of have, because I do want to feel like I've got a purpose. Like that's something that I've always wanted. And I want to feel like I have a purpose on BookTube in doing this. And yeah, what I want is for people to be like, I want to watch Gavin and smile, laugh, and like actually like tune off and have a good time. And be like, oh, I want to rewatch Gavin's Haunted Castle vlog. I want to rewatch Gavin's Shire vlog. I want to rewatch Gavin's Dracula. I want to have those really standout videos that people can refer to, and you would know what it means. So like Shire
sure.
vlog, Dracula vlog, Haunted Castle vlog, Haunted Nunnery vlog. I want those things to like stand out. Like I do, like not in a egotistical, oh, I want to be the best right thing. I want to make sure that I have things that do stand out to people, and so that
Yeah,
they do remember me. Because one of my biggest fears ever is like being forgotten. Is like I'll leave this world and no one will remember me, kind of thing. That's
right.
one of my biggest fears. So to have someone be like, oh, I absolutely loved your nunnery vlog, and just like seeing one of my videos and I know what they're referring to
Mm-hmm.
is something that really does get me excited. And I say, oh, I've made an impression on you. Like I've actually like left something behind. I've made you laugh. I made you cry. And things like that. That definitely makes me feel like I've got purpose. And
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of the legacy I guess I want to leave. Is just like, oh, remember, like so, like say, I don't think I'll be doing booktube forever. I think that's impossible. But like say like in 10 years time, maybe I haven't been doing booktube for a while, and I want people to be like, oh, like do you remember Gavin Reads at all? Like
Yeah.
it, things I would kind of
The
like that, but
the smile and the warmth that it brings to them when they think,
mm-hmm,
because we all have those shows that aren't on
mm-hmm,
anymore, but when we think about them, it gives us a smile, for sure. Folks, we've been going almost an hour and a half, and
mm-hmm.
that's usually where we start to wind it down. But we do one thing before we
mm.
get to that one thing. I will tell you who our next guest will be
Mm.
in 2 weeks. It's not going to be 2 weeks from today. It's going to be 2 weeks from yesterday for a special Tuesday evening edition of For Whom the Bell Tolls. And our guest that week is someone that I've never been on a stream with before. I've never talked to in my life, but you guys asked me to find him, to track him down, and it is John Rammel from Rammel Broadcasting. He is a very cool dude, at least from our quick text interactions. He'll be coming up 2 weeks from yesterday. But more important to today's point, on every episode, folks, if you're brand new here to the channel, by the way, I'm Brian. I probably should have introduced myself right at the beginning because I know a lot of people are watching purely for our guest today. But on every episode of BellTube, we always end with a little segment that I call One for the Road. Now, it's usually me just talking about sort of things that I've learned being the age that I'm at and going through a myriad of experiences that I've had. I've worked corporate America. I got lots of business majors. I lived in England. I owned and operated a nightclub for 15 years. I've owned my own business. I've done a lot of stuff, and I've read a ton of books. And so I tend to try to come up with something that I find somebody out there might find valuable in just some of the experiences that I've had. And I call that, really our one for the road that we do on the end of every episode of BellTube. Well, when we do For Whom the Bell Tolls, that job no longer goes to me. That job for leaving a one for the road goes to our esteemed guest. So I will turn it over to Gavin. Would you give us a one for the road, please, sir?
Absolutely. I would be honored to do that. And firstly as well, I want to say thank you so much for everyone for the lovely comments as well in the chat. I do appreciate you all so much.
They're all there. I mean,
so
it's
nice.
like,
yeah.
they're pretty crazy. I mean,
so
all of it. Best choice. I mean, just everything. So
lovely.
Yeah.
And my one for the road is, and I'm so sorry if this has ever been said before, I'm not original in that sense, but what I say is something that's really helped me, especially this last year too, is I've stopped saying I wish and I've changed it to I will. So for a long time I said I wish I could be a booktuber, I wish I could be like the booktubers I aspire to be, and I, for some reason in 2019 decided, oh, you know what, I will be a booktuber and I will do what I need to do, and to feel like I belong in this community. And that's what I did. And then last year I was saying, oh, I wish I looked like this person, I wish I looked like that person. I felt my health fading. I felt I started to resent how I looked and everything. And then I was like, instead of saying I wish I looked like that person, I will look like that person, kind of thing, so I started to change my vernacular into something a lot more proactive. And it's something that I feel like it's like a muscle, like you have to train it, like you can't just like jump into things sometimes. But by just taking that first leap of like having it in your head, of being like, oh, I wish I could be a booktuber, oh no, I will be a booktuber, that's when you can start planning. That's when you can start to feel like, hey, I can actually I can actually do it. And that's something that I struggled with for a very long time. But stop saying I wish and start saying
I love that. I mean, that is an absolutely perfect one for the road, because that is the kind of one for the roads that I like to say. That is highly practical advice, but it's actionable. It's something that somebody can do the minute that this stream ends. I promise you, everybody who's watching this has a wish in their mind of something that they wish happened. And just getting that little nugget of, hey, you know what? I tried this. I tried saying, I will make this happen, or I will do this, rather than I wish. That will be an instigator to action for somebody who's watching this right now. So thank you. That's awesome.
Nothing stopping you from, well, I guess there might be some circumstances where maybe something might stop you. But like when you can do it, like, please do. Like, don't let anything hold you back. You can become something you want to be if you try. And I know that can be like so much easier said than done. But unless you make that first step in your mind, like you change that mindset, you have that mindset change from wish to will, then that's the first step that you needed to take.
It's one word, but it makes all the difference in the world.
Exactly.
Gavin, I have to say, this has been a total blast. You are every bit the guest that I hoped you would be, but I knew that going in. I've got bad news, my friend. We only got to half of the questions, so I have to ask, would you be willing to come back for a volume 2 of For Whom the
Oh,
Bell Tolls? And we
the
can do this all
highly,
over again.
yes, the highly anticipated sequel to this live show. 100%, I'm down.
I That makes me very happy. Everybody, if you're not already subscribed to Gavin Reads It All, his channel is linked in the description below. Gavin, is there anything coming up that you want to talk about on your channel that's about to drop that you want anybody to know about?
I do want to hype up a little bit of my vlogs of Halloween this year because I am going bigger and better than ever before. And
Awesome.
I have mentioned before that I'm doing the Haunted School. I haven't mentioned this publicly, but it is going to be like a two-part premiere of vlogs
Cool.
of Halloween 2025. So it is going to be split into two videos that should hopefully both be very, very exciting. But there's lots of really cool Halloween horror. Well, you don't actually have to like horror to. Well, if you want to see me be silly in a haunted school, doing reading challenges and like reading a book and all this and the other, then feel free to come down and get stuck into that. But yeah, I am the most excited for all of the vlogs of Halloween stuff this year, and I hope everyone loves it.
I know that I'll be watching it. I am sure a lot of the people that are watching this today will be. I want to thank everybody who's been with us in chat today. You guys really are the life of the channel, and it's just so great to see so many people, so many positive comments about Gavin. It really helped me. I already knew he'd be great, but when everybody in chat agrees with me, makes me feel like I did the right thing here today. I want to thank everybody who is watching on replay. Once again, please hashtag Team Replay in the comments and let me know where you're watching and when you're watching so I can schedule an episode that's best for you. But most importantly, I have to say thank you to Gavin. Gavin, this has been phenomenal. 90 minutes went by, boom,
Mm, it
incredibly
did.
quickly. I
It
can't
did.
wait to have you back on the show. And I
Oh,
think that this is just the start of a very long term, hopefully wonderful friendship between the both of us.
I agree. And Brian, welcome back. I speak for everyone. I say welcome back. I want a round of applause because
Oh,
that was
thank you.
phenomenal. That was amazing, and I cannot wait to tune into more of what Brian is doing. So if there's anyone who's watching because of me, please do subscribe to Brian. He's
Oh,
just absolutely wonderful. Such a lovely light in the
thank you.
community. So yes, thank you,
You
Brian.
guys are it's turned into a love fest here, folks.
It
So
is.
I will say so long for now. Gavin, thanks a bunch. Thank you. And I look forward to, all your videos, and I can't wait to have you back on the show. Thanks everybody.
Bye.